Today, I want to explain a little bit about who Adobe is, what apps are available, why would you want to use them versus what else is out there. And I'll talk about two apps for photos that are popular, and then we'll get down to the one that's the free one. Okay, so Adobe is considered what is called a leader in creative software. That's what they're known for. They make a lot of software. I'll show you a list of all the software they make just in the Creative Cloud. But what you may not know about Adobe is that they are also a somebody that makes tools for digital marketing. They have a whole business side of their organization. They measure results, they measure statistics, they do all kinds of things that people are doing on business websites and mobile apps. And they have a lot of analytic tools. They have a lot of tools for digital marketers, mostly bigger brand names like big retailers, car companies, concert venues, things like that. And Adobe, in case you aren't familiar, had almost $20 billion in revenue. They're a huge company in the technology industry. Obviously not as large as Apple or Facebook, Meta or Google, but they're very significant, and they have this niche in creative software and digital marketing. They are considered a definite leader in that space. So if you're ever interested in researching them as a potential investment or just to know about what's going on in technology, Adobe's usually got some leadership products in those areas. They're known most popularly with the average user for the portable document format, PDF. And they make a free Adobe Reader software that they license to virtually everybody so that you can create a document as a PDF and you can send it and it shows up the same format, the same text, the same font, the same layout everywhere. And they make a lot of tools for signing documents on the business side and other things like that that are used in their Adobe Acrobat software. So that's what you probably know Adobe for. But they have this thing called the Creative Cloud, and it consists of 20 plus applications. I think you can subscribe to the Creative Cloud for about $60 a month. If you have a student email with any school whatsoever, you can get a student discount for about 20, and you can buy these products individually as well. It's things that you may not have thought about, like Character Animator. That's used by a lot of professional animators that make animated movies. After Effects, which creates visual effects for graphics. They have InDesign for creating documents, Audition for podcasting, Lightroom, Adobe Express, which is a short tool, Firefly, which is their AI, Dreamweaver, which is a website creating tool, a Bridge for management. Then they're always coming up with new. As a Creative Cloud subscriber, you would get access to all of these. But what we're going to look at most closely here is this one called Photoshop Express. Obviously, if you have a Creative Cloud subscription, you get access to Photoshop Express and a lot of other things, but you just may not need all of these. Photoshop Express is different from Photoshop and different from Lightroom and different from Lightroom Classic. Mostly photographers, and some of you may be familiar with these, you tend to use Lightroom Classic or Lightroom or Photoshop, and they tended to not worry about Photoshop Express, but Adobe is making this as a way to get introduced to their products. So as I mentioned, there's this Lightroom Photoshop, and I actually have a Lightroom subscription. It's $9.95 a month. It includes Photoshop as part of it and the premium subscription to Photoshop Express. But they do have this separate app called Photoshop Express, and that's what we're going to look at today. So you can start small with Adobe or you can start big with Adobe. If you go to photography schools, they'll typically teach you Lightroom and Photoshop. But we're going to talk about Photoshop Express, which is really designed for people that are using their smartphones predominantly for photography, and that's our community. This is how it appears in the App Store, Photoshop Express. It has a lot of tools. It's really highly rated. What it has, it's available for Android, iOS, and Windows, which means you can use it on Android smartphones as well as Android tablets. You can use it on iPhones as well as iPads, and you could use it on Windows. Now, you notice there's no Mac version of this because they just don't make it for people that have Macs. Macs are known as a platform that's used by a lot of people in creative occupations, and they just didn't make Photoshop Express and bother with it for Mac, because most people that have Macs and want to do things with photos tend to go with Lightroom Photoshop. It's built for mobile. It's got templates and filters galore. It's got advanced editing features. It's got special effects. It's got the free version and the premium upgrade. It's got AI, generative AI built into it. It's just amazing what you can do with this app. Now, you have to have an Adobe account. So if you do download Photoshop Express, it'll ask you to create an Adobe account. That's free. Okay. And they give you 2 gigabytes of storage for your images. You can always download them if you want to. You can buy and upgrade storage separately if you want to. If you want to, you don't have to, but if you want to, you can upgrade to an annual premium plan, which is currently $34.99. That will give you a lot of additional features. We'll take a look at many of them when we go into the demonstration, things like filters, animations, AI effects, and other tools that you may want to consider using. Prohibitively expensive application. It's just a matter of whether you feel you're going to need it, use it, want it. And it's really become a very popular application for people that do a lot of social media posting on Instagram and Facebook, and it has video tools built into it. So it's not just for photos, it's for videos and also graphics as well. And just quite amazing what you can do with it. If you buy the Lightroom Photoshop Creative Plan, you can get one for $9.99 a month. That's the one I have because I use Lightroom on my Mac and Photoshop on my Mac. But the Photoshop Express is included with that, and so you don't have to pay a separate premium fee. So let me show you their web store first. Google Android store open, and it's a Photoshop Express photo editor, 100 million downloads, very highly reviewed, and they have little tools. You can do photo layouts, you can do red eye removers, you can do aesthetic looks through a lot of the filters, you can clear up photos and make them sharper. You can put stickers and text in them to make more elaborate graphics if you want to. They have an AI photo enhancer that you can use. They have advanced healing that will heal blemishes and spots and smooth skin. There's a lot, you can create collages and add borders and a lot more to it. These are just a fraction of the things you can do with it, and they keep on enhancing it. Here's Photoshop Express on my screen. I downloaded the app, and if I tap to open it, it comes up with a kind of a helpful screen here that's really nice, where I can select some specific activities. They feature something, generative AI. I can search for tools in it. I can also, this is the home screen, but I can look at my projects. When you start working with an image, it creates a project automatically. I can start a new project. I can discover other people. Photoshop does let you see and view other people's images, and you can also view tutorials. Tutorials is great because tutorials will show you a lot of different things you might want to deal with. So here's get into the looks. And when you click on try, it actually walks you through and takes you to the settings. You can use color duo using what is called a duotone effect to create images that really are very impressive and dynamic. If you're wondering how do people get their photos looking like these things, this is what they do. You can use it to blur backgrounds. Okay, so if you took a picture and you forgot to put it in portrait mode when you were taking the picture, you can blur the background and change it, create a depth of field effect automatically. You can use it for creating a mood where you can create framing that, like vignettes and other things. And some of these are available in the tools from Apple and the tools from Google and some others out there, but they're all just available here in doing a lot of things. You can heal and touch up areas if you want to, and you choose different spots and change the diameter of your little healing brush if you want to. And that's one of the great things. That healing brush is really fantastic. And you can get the right fit. You can crop your photos, obviously, but they have some predefined dimensions for social media that make it easy. They have some other things. Did you blink when you had your eyes closed? You can actually change a closed eye picture to an open eye picture and do that. Kind of interesting. You can put a stamp or a logo or a graphic on a photo to kind of enhance it in some way if you're interested in making it a little more visually interesting. You can get a flawless skin look and smooth out skin, and it'll automatically do facial recognition and help you do that. You can tidy up your background. You can patch things to heal. Just scroll over it and it'll blend in the background to the other background. It can help you tilt things a little bit one way or another. If you want to tilt the angle of your head, you can see her head is moving one way and just another, but with the tilt function. If you have an object that's not tilted right, you can do digital makeup. You can apply lipstick, eyeliner. They have makeup retouching tools as well. They have things you can do. You can create a little world if you want to move something to a different area, and create this little world effect. Watch the palm tree on the right. They're going to change it and create it so it's level or maybe it's blowing in the wind or you don't want it blowing in the wind. You can add a smile. Okay. So you didn't have a picture where somebody was smiling, you can give them a smile if you want to. So all of these things can be done after the photo was taken. So you can think, that wasn't a good photo. I didn't catch them smiling. You don't have to catch them smiling. You can do it later. You can get artistic and apply designs and formats and draw on your images and create artistic effects. Excuse me. You can customize your background, cutting out the subject, creating a new background, adding a second photo. You can create composites if you want to. You can just go to a particular pre-designed format with various themes and kind of give it a little impact if you want to and try them out. You can create layouts and create collages. You can create, mood boards and do all kinds of things. So we're not going to do all of these things because I don't know how to do all of them. There's just so many tools. Some people that are like digital, influencers and social media posters, they really like to take advantage of a lot of these tools. We're just going to take advantage of a few of them and see what we can do with some interesting things. So this is a project I did that I was taken at the LA County Museum, and I created a skeleton here. So I want to modify this. I can change the effect of it if I want to and change some things out. So that's an example of something I did. Let me take another photo here and see if I can find my library. When you're looking at your photos. It'll show recents, but we can also go to albums, and albums will help recognize the albums I've created for doing things. I created an album. These are all my albums in my iPhone. I create a lot of albums for sorting things out. And I created an album that has something on tech topics here. So I'm going to go down to T and see if I can find it. I just pulled together some photos here. Here we go. Okay. So it recognizes the albums on your device. So here's a couple of photos that may or may not look great. So here's this picture I took in the LA County Museum of Art, where they have this light effect at night. And at the bottom, I've got the ability to do all kinds of things. I can just go automatic, right? Or I can click the automatic tool and get into looks, or I can click the AI enhancer and it'll just create a better effect for me. I have an undo button here on the left, and I also have a button where I can compare before and after. Original, after, original, after. Not a whole lot of difference there. So I'm going to just undo those. Okay, so one of the things I wanted to do is I can go to themes, and themes brings up a whole range of pre-formatted themes. If I want to change this to Halloween, I have not only the basic, I have all these Halloweens, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I can go to Halloween 9, and it applies this to the photo. So it's a designer as well. Now, if I want to undo it, I just go to undo and I'm done with it. But I can go to another theme like this one and apply this theme. So I can play around with different themes and formats. And there's all kinds of them. Oktoberfest, film themes, music festivals, travel. These are all kind of themes that are designed around us. If I want to put on a retro theme, I can take a retro one like this, and it gives it a very different effect on the photo than you just might have it. Okay,
Bob,
so
I'm sorry, I was on something. What specific application are you talking about right this
this
time?
is Photoshop Express,
Okay,
Kathleen.
thank
Yeah,
you.
this is Photoshop Express. Okay, and we're not going to change we're not going to look at any other applications. This is strictly Photoshop Express I'm working with. Now, I can change, there's looks here, there's adjustments. So I can make adjustments to the whole picture, or I can make just adjustments to the subject. You see how it highlighted the subject right away? So I can change the lighting for me and make myself a little brighter here without affecting the rest of the image. These are things that don't aren't really easy with the Apple Photos app and the Google Photos app, and even some others. If you want to adjust a specific part of a photo, and the great thing is that it picks it automatically. You can even pick out specific objects if you want to as well in the photo and select an object like a specific light post or something. And so it gives you the ability to even change the sky. It highlighted the sky for me automatically and gives me the ability to adjust the sky lighter or darker if I want to. I can give it a little bit of a night effect like that right away. So these are things I can make my skin look a little better. I can give it some more color here if I want to. And there are some pre-formatted tools here that give me a color effects that I might want to look at. Okay, so I can change the temperature or the tint or make it a little more saturated if I want to. And I can start to see it. If I ever want to see what the original looks like, I just tap on this comparison. There's the original, there's my edits. And so the editing tools are really great. Now, one of the things that I have to find it here again. Here we go. Insert object. I want to give this a little bit of a Halloween effect. So I'm going to insert an object. All I have to do is brush on an area, and I'm going to type in, I tried zombie, it didn't do that. So I'm going to type in skeleton of a person. Okay. And we'll give it a minute here. It's going to generate, I hope, an AI tool. It can't be processed. Okay, so let's try something simpler. Let's try skeleton and see if it does. And maybe it's just overloaded. Sometimes it's working. More descriptive prompts give you better outputs. It generates that skeleton for me. Okay. I also did one. I didn't like that. I also did one that was brush on my object area here. Let's get the brush here. We'll brush here. And I did one with the dinosaur earlier. And it put the dinosaur behind the pillars. I don't know why it chose to do it that way, but it just did. So this probably is a premium feature that we're getting. So if you want to put an AI object in there, there is complete generative AIs, but at the bottom, I've got some variations. So I've got a little variation. There's the dinosaur sticking out behind there. There's one coming right after me. And if I want to refresh it, I can refresh it and get a different look if I want to. So just an interesting approach you can take to working with photos. I could add text here and I can say scary and I'm done. And I can move this text around. I can change the color, the font. So you can see how a lot of people, a lot of times, we used to have photos. And I don't know if you remember the days when if you actually had a print photo, you'd get it from the photo lab and you'd write on the back something about that photo so you could remember what it was. Well, we don't always have that. So one of the things you can do is put some text on here and give it a little more of an effect if you want to. And you can change font styles if you want to. They have a whole library of fonts that look very attractive, and you can change the color of the text to something you might want to make it a little more vibrant in some way. And then your photo is automatically saved. Your original is not destroyed in any way whatsoever. And what this becomes, it becomes a project. Okay, so let's take another object here. This was in Florence, and I need to really get this straightened out. Okay, a lot of the apps will do a little bit of straightening out, but they may or may not give you the ability to do certain adjustments on them. So I kind of remember where this is. So I can change parts of it, or I can make adjustments in the crop tool. I think that's where I can make it, or I can adjust the transform. And transform gives me the ability to adjust the vertical skew of this photo. Who doesn't take a picture of a building looking up at it, right? So if I go to the vertical skew, you can see how I can adjust the skew of this image to make it vertical or transform it so it's straighter. And it was pretty severe, so I don't have a whole lot of options here. But now I've transformed it so it's a little more dimensional in some way. Or I can change the horizontal skew as well if something is skewed, or I can just do a balanced auto and let it do it for me and figure it out. Now, I've got some people here and I'd like to remove these objects here. Okay, so let's remove some objects and I'm going to hover over these people and see if I can do it and see if they remove them. I'm not sure if it'll do it or not, but it's supposed to do AI object removal. It says use a larger brush for efficiency. Okay, all right, let me use a larger brush for efficiency here. Okay, let's go to heal and see if we can get that better. And we'll try it one more time. Let's go to more results. We'll go to a larger brush. Okay, I can adjust my brush size. And I want to get rid of these people here in this area. Okay, and I'll say remove. And what it's going to do is it's going to remove those people in that area and try and restore them. So I can see what other results I've got if I want to and get more results from this. There, it did a little better job removing them that way, and some different people here. So it's trying to get things out in different ways. I can insert an object here. If I want to do an object and I want to insert an object, I can insert a car. I can type in car and I can generate a car if I want to put it in front of the building, or a horse or something else. And we'll see what it puts in there. So put a truck, decided what kind of a car it wanted to put in. Okay, let's go to something else in my library here. Okay, let's see if we can find something here. That's me with in the Sequoia National Park. Not okay. So if I just want to go to making myself, well, let me go to a different one. Let me go to a selfie I've got here, I think, that I want to work with. Let's see if I can find one here. Okay, this is a good one. This is me bowling. I can go to smooth and it's put this little fine circle around my face. And I can just type in smooth and it'll do it, but I can go to smoother and I can adjust it manually and make adjustments on it if I want to. And there's even the ability to erase edits that have been done or change things, feathering as well. So you've got a lot of fine control over details that you can work with on these aspects of different things. Let's take a landscape. I've edited this. I'm going to open the original here. So. Okay, let's go to themes or looks and see if we can find something that gives me a basic nature look here. Okay, I've got a lot of options here. Nature, I can go colorful, I can go verve, I can go classic. I'm not sure why these are a little darker here than I want them to be, but I can create a little darker effect. So I'm not sure why it's making these adjustments. Maybe the original was dark in the first place. So that's what I was working with. You can combine photos, you can create different ones. So let's try a photo I haven't worked with, I think, and see if this works better, because sometimes it'll do it. So if we take this charm or we want to apply a different effect, we can see how it looks with each of these photo and just try all of these different types of edits that we might want to make on it with anything we really want to do. Give it a cinematic look or an HDR look, but even make adjustments here now too. So we can adjust the lighting, we can adjust the color manually, we can adjust effects, we can go to details. If you have a hazy picture, details are a good way to get rid of hazing. You can split the tone, you can blur aspects of it, a full subject or background. So we want to just blur this a little bit, we could. We can do a vignette and create a vignette. And so there's just a tremendous number of things, and you can draw on top of a photo as well. So if you draw, you can draw something on top of it, or you can use it as a highlighter pen. So you have a tremendous amount of graphics capabilities as well. And it'll work with videos. It'll even create a little video to create an image and produce a video if you want to. And every time you create a project, do something, it creates a little project for you here. So if you want to see your last project, you can go here and look at everything you've done before and earlier that you might have looked at. Here's a vignette I did, that's going to download. It'll keep it in the cloud, but it'll download it to your phone in just a few minutes. So here's a little vignette I made with the vignette effect. Some of the effects are more dramatic than others, obviously. And so depending on what you're interested in, you can discover other photos. People that created photos here have chosen to share them. And so you can see what they've done. You can try out these edits on your own to see how they look. And again, go to the tutorials and change a smile. I'm trying to remember if I have a smile or not in one of them. So I don't know if this one's a big enough smile or not, but we'll see if we can find where that effect is. But you can there's just so many fine tuning things you can do. And that's really what you want to do if you want to find a fine tuning. So we'll go to face and I don't know if we can go to lips. We can get lips done here. We can go to nose. We can go, let's see if we can get a preset here, and we can try and change, different things about the facial look here as well. So if I want to go with an open mouth here, I can tap that, and it'll create a little more of an effect with the eyes and the face and the lips here if I want to. So here's the smile effect. I can adjust, and you can see how it changes the corner of my lips and brings it up to a smile. If you look closely, you'll see it. There's a frown or no smile. But then if I slide the slider over to the right, you'll see it's raising the edge of the corner of my lips to give me a smile effect there where I wasn't smiling before. So anyway, that's a little bit of what you can do with Photoshop. You get a photo that sometimes it's great, sometimes it's okay. Obviously, if you just want to use the automatic effects on it, you can use the automatic effects on this photo and say, I just want to make it better. And you can see the difference between before and after with just hitting the one button, how it impacted the photo and made the colors richer. But obviously, you can apply a lot of effects, a lot of designs, a lot of aspects to it, and make all kinds of adjustments if you want to other aspects if you care about it. And there's even an animation aspect, but I haven't figured that one out yet. So if you have an object or something you want to add to it and you want to animate a little, maybe a graphic coming in or something like that, I suspect it's for that effect. I've shown you what I know about it. So that's the conclusion of my tutorial. All right. Well, thank you, everybody.